Welcome, adventurers! You've made it to the Wind Down, the live stream at the end of the Geekverse. It's a chill place to hang out here as the sun sets on another day. We're here to have a little chat, reflect on the day's successes, and prepare for a better tomorrow. So settle in with your favorite beverage this evening.
May I tempt you with a cup of chamomile?
Why, thank you, Dory. I would love a mug of tea this evening, but perhaps you would rather have some coffee, though I do recommend decaf this late in the evening. Or perhaps maybe a cold brew is more your style.
Oh, no thank you, Dory. A little red wine. For me, Isaac.
Sounds like an excellent choice, Gandalf. Whatever you want, it's yours. Could I offer you a bourbon, a martini, an old-fashioned, or something perhaps a little stronger? Ugh. Well, I mean, if that's really your thing, then okay, but I hope we can find something a bit better than that.
Romulan ale? Why, Bones, you know this is illegal.
I only use it for medicinal purposes.
All right, now we're talking. I'm Heath, and I'll be your host. Welcome to my home. Come one, come all, writers, artists, sculptors, storytellers, board gamers, streamers, dungeon masters, fans of sci-fi, fantasy, geeks of all kinds. Whatever your fandom, you have a place here. For soon it will be time for another long rest so that we can recover our hit points, our spells, and our abilities, so we'll be ready to fight on for another day tomorrow. But first, we all need a little time to reflect, because you've survived another long, perilous day of wilderness treks, dungeoneering, and random encounters, and that's worth celebrating. Let's tell the tale. It's time for the Wind Down. It will improve your life. It really will. Give it a chance. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Not paying attention here. Was reading comments. How are you this evening? Was it a good day? I hope it was. Let's all take a sip of our favorite beverage. Have you got yours? I brought a hot pot in here into the office so I can actually brew tea here in the office instead of having to go to the kitchen. So, oh, I knew something was missing. What about our music? There we go. There we go. Now we're chill. All right, let's breathe. See, this is one of those days where I was working and I'd be tempted to just keep working and into the night, but that would foul up sleep and then I wouldn't be back at it tomorrow. So it's good to have the wind down. You know, this is when work has to stop. Oh, tea's hot. We'll have to do more sipping later. Let me see what's going on in the comments here. So Matt said that a comment of his got deleted yesterday. I know he's working on a demo for an online, well, you can tell what it is, like a character builder, or it was a dungeon builder, and it's an online web tool. The comment was not deleted intentionally. I didn't know you posted it, so no, there was no problem. YouTube may have ate it. I've had that happen once before on another comment, just a standard comment on a YouTube video, that I knew it was posted, and it was a nice long comment, and all of a sudden it was deleted, and the guy thought I had deleted it, but I think YouTube ate it. Also, sometimes when the things are scrolling by and like one of the bots comes in, I'll go over there to nuke the spam, and one time I accidentally blocked a real user, someone who was trying to talk, because a new comment came in, it slid up, and then I hit that person instead of the bot. And so I've done things like that before too. So yeah, I don't think it was that. So no problem, Matt. Oh wait, what happened? Might have taken down the video and then put it up again. That's usually what happens to all my comments. I was writing a narrative for his Dinner Board Game Small World game in the comments. I did take, was that a long time ago? I did take down some of the Dinner and a Board Game videos to repost them and try to relaunch them. But that was a long time ago. Oh, you're right. When the channel move happened, that could have been it. Because I'm not trying to maintain separate channels anymore. That was too much. That was an experiment, but it was too much. So Matt is making a browser dungeon crawler, but users will be able to move and make their own quest books for other people to enjoy. Looking forward to seeing that. So definitely let us know. So remember, why are we here? We're here to reflect on our day. We are here to hold ourselves accountable and see what happened today ever since the morning grind. When we end the morning grind, we always take a look and see what 3 things we'd like to try to accomplish. And if we accomplish them, we'd say we had a good day. Did that happen? It didn't happen for me again. I hope that you're happy with your day, though. So I hope that it went well. And if it didn't, then we can talk about how to make it better tomorrow and how to accomplish what we're trying to do. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. We'll talk about those. Like I said, even if it's a question about something that requires lots of analysis of dice probabilities or something like that for a game, that may be better for tomorrow. But other questions, things going on, definitely put those in. We can talk about it. We're here to celebrate victories. So if you did have a good day, you accomplished something that you want to talk about, we can put it in the chat and we can talk about and celebrate it together. Or, we can talk about how to improve if you didn't. My issue is that my tasks just keep taking too much time, much more time than I was thinking that they would. So didn't even get through even this email stuff I'm still fighting with. Did you have a random encounter today? Did something strange happen to you? Something fortuitous? Maybe something weird? Who knows what random encounters might send our way? So if you had a random encounter, put that in the chat too. We can talk about those. So let's say Matt and Inner Light are talking about what Matt is building. Yeah, and I didn't get to email again because I didn't even get to really go through my own email today. So I know there are people who have written me about play testing and things like that. And I've got your email, but I haven't looked at it yet. I've written up an introduction for the RPG I'm working on and sent it to Heath this morning. Interesting to get his and everyone else's, if he shares, take on it. If it's ready to share, we'll see. If it's ready to actually go out, I think it's a fine thing to do for us to share what we're doing here in the community. People who are looking at that kind of stuff, but we always want to make sure that it's ready to go out before it goes out. Says I need to write something that goes over the merits of the tactical combat tiled grid system as well. It was already at 25 pages. Don't want it to get too long and boring. So you're doing tactical combat. Let's see. Lots of stuff. Hello. Yeah, I was afraid that the fog machine was out of action. It's got these lights on it, and they weren't lighting up, but for some reason, they all of a sudden decided to start, and so they were. Someone should make an random encounter chart, LOL. Nice Trey. User fell for a phishing scam today. I'm ready for the wind down. Oh. Oh, hello, Positive Fandom. That's Arm. Welcome to the wind down. Chilling out. Just hanging out. Hopefully you had successes today and that it was a good day for you as well. Interlight says, I got 3 things I wrote down to do. I got 3 things I wrote down to do done. I got the 3 things I wrote down to do done. Congratulations. Excellent. But I've been avoiding looking at the dragons. Congratulations. The Turductin I pre-ordered about 3 months ago came in. I don't know what that is. Is that a board game? I didn't get my stuff done today. I'm still trying to work in the email situation. I'm trying to get that really nailed down. And I didn't even get to exactly what I was working on, but I learned a whole bunch of stuff about the software and stuff like that I didn't know that will improve my situation and help me out. So it was a very productive day as far as that goes, but it didn't get complete though. So once again, one of the things I've been thinking about today is when you start scheduling your time and spending time in 25-minute or 90-minute blocks or whatever it is, well, you're going to be impressed by how much you can get done. But at other times, you're going to be impressed by exactly how much you can't get done. and that's just a fact of life. How much you can't get done, and how much time all this is actually going to take. I've got a fairly it's a reasonable sized list, but it's a finite list of things that I want to accomplish, the projects that I want to get done. And for about the last 18 months, man, it seems like nothing has been happening on those projects for different reasons. Difficult to get done. So sometimes projects get jammed up. It sure will be nice when projects start really moving again. I was thinking that I think I need a morning anchor. Now, I know that we've got the mid-morning anchor of the morning grind, but I need some way to make sure that I'm accountable for what I'm supposed to be doing before the morning grind. Ideally for me, like I'm in Central Time, so that's 9:30 a.m. Central Time. I would really like for the morning grind to also be a kind of celebration. Even though it's pump up and high energy for the day, I'd really like to be able to get work done before we do the morning grind in the mornings. And that way, it's a bit of a celebration. If you've accomplished some tasks in the morning already, been working well, then we can go to the morning grind and we can talk about geek stuff, hang out, plan the rest of our day, and then go and attack. So, I would like to be able to work for about 3 hours in the morning before the morning grind. If I could do that, that would be really great. Now, in the past, the problem has been sleep, trying to make sure, actually sleeping when in bed. But I got that sorted out. Now I need to work on making sure I'm up at the right time. So I'm thinking about, I'm not talking about another live stream or something like that, but maybe tweeting out in the morning that I'm up and working. Tag me if you're up and working. A little bit of accountability up there in the morning. Make sure I'm up at the right time and not just before the morning grind. So I'm thinking I need a morning anchor, kind of structuring the day here. Morning anchor, mid-morning anchor with the morning grind. That's a big one. The afternoon adventure. I've been posting something to Instagram, basically like an Instagram story. Hit 3 miles today again. So that's a good anchor. And then can come back, work. Ideally, I'd like my core creative time to be here in the evenings, because when do I really want to be writing and things like that? When the office is set up like this and has this kind of lighting done. This is why I designed the office in this way, that I can sit here, get all the lighting like this, be real mellow. It's really easy for me to be creative in the evenings. That's a good time for me to be creative, especially if I've got like a glass of red wine and then you turn on this kind of atmosphere in here, do some core creative stuff. And then it would already be set up for the wind down. So I think that would work pretty well. So need a morning anchor and need to get core creative time. I didn't get my core creative time in, and I always feel bad. Some people will want to do core creative stuff in the morning. Some people will want to do that straight off first thing in the morning, and I can understand why, because it's so easy to not get it done. But on the other hand, for me, what I'm thinking is that perhaps I feel bad about doing core creative stuff if the work of the day isn't already done. So if I wake up and I actually get into the business side of things and things like that, maybe that's the attack that I can go. The attack vector. I didn't want to break the chain. How are you doing do you need active physical activity, active deliberate recreation? I hit a move streak on my watch today, and I new longest streak, so I don't want it to stop. Let's see, we're talking about the turkey stuff. 7xmas7 has a great question. What do you all recommend for a good miniature paint set to get started? I have so many figures unpainted. Yeah, I've got that same problem. You would not believe this box that's sitting over here on the other side of this desk of a whole bunch of unpainted miniatures. I did an experiment with the GW contrast paints. Now, the downside to those is they are expensive. And so I bought, exactly. That is exactly what I was going to say, Inner Light. So the Army Painter Speeds paint set I bought and I have here, but I haven't gotten to experiment with them. It's one of those things that's on the list that hasn't been done. I've got the speed paints over here, so I can't recommend them yet because I haven't tried them. My brother did have some, and he painted a few things with the speed paints, and he said they were fun. but I haven't tried them yet. I want to try to paint maybe the cultist miniatures with them, or maybe they need more, more deliberate paint jobs and something else. Because one of the things that I want to do as far as the miniatures go, we can all, if you want to, like, spend 4 hours on a miniature and make it look fantastic, but we got a ton of unpainted miniatures, right? And I don't really need all of them to be this gigantic, production, painted to the highest level standard. I just want to get them done because it's more fun to play board games when they're all painted. And if painting miniatures is something that you like, then you get the pleasure of painting them. And I'm thinking that something like the speed paints is the way to go. Because if I'm just looking, hey, I want to sit down here for an hour while I'm watching TV and paint some miniatures, priming is an issue. You got to have them already primed. So, one day I may call that out. I've got to prime these cultist miniatures. I may put that out on Instagram or something like that to remind everybody, hey, listen, grab your primer and just go prime some miniatures here at lunch or something like that. And then that way they'll be ready for you if you've got some speed paints later tonight, if you want to watch TV or something like that, or that afternoon. I'm working on some way. One of the things I've been thinking about is that, because I don't get to do that as much as I would like. I really like being in the workshop and crafting stuff for board games, which is why, a lot of the material on the channel earlier on was that. And because I really wanted to be able to get away from the computer and do that. But that was too much to try to do YouTube videos of all of that stuff. I tried. They were great, but they were, but it was just too much. Trying to make all the stuff and then film and then edit and stuff like that. It wasn't getting things promoted, production done. But one thing I was thinking, and it doesn't really work on a live stream, because if I'm sitting here painting, I'm looking at painting, it doesn't really work. But I had the idea, and this was last Friday, that maybe we could schedule some miniature painting time or craft time for our board games and do that together. Because if we had a stream where people were talking and we were actually having a conversation, well, then we could all be painting our miniatures at the same time, and we could be talking about whatever it is. I don't know. So, that would be, an hour and a half or something like that. Maybe schedule that and do it once every 2 weeks or something like that, just to chill out, get some of our miniatures painted, and then be able to enjoy them after that, and perhaps enjoy some company. So that's what I've been thinking about is, maybe there's some way that we can, as a group, handle at least some of our miniature problem. I don't think I'll ever get through all of my miniatures, but I got really heavy into the Song of Ice and Fire board game, the one by Simon, which is like the Warhammer one. When I realized that was coming out and it was going to be like Warhammer Fantasy Battles with the armies, I played that all the time. And so I said, all right, what? I'm going to get into that game. I'm going to get my nephews into that game. So I got a lot of those miniatures, and a lot of those miniatures are still sitting over here completely unpainted. I got some of them primed with the Army Painter colored primer. Now that's one thing I was trying to experiment with and see if that worked. It's take the base color of your, whatever you want the model to be most, that color. I hadn't really ever used colored primer before. So I did group all of the miniatures together by color, main color, and then used Army Painter's primer to go in. But I haven't really been able to finish painting them. They just got primed. Trey says, I did get a chance to walk around the local lake today and listen to my audiobook while I walked. Oh, fantastic. All right. Wonderful. Yep. We'll try them out. The speed paints have been compared positively to the GW Citadel contrast paints. That's good. That's good. What's Trey been reading? Well, on the Dresden Files, currently on Skin Game. James Marsters does the reading. Highly recommended. That's one that I have never gotten into, the Dresden Files. My aunt really likes the Dresden Files, and I believe Megan is in on the Dresden Files too. but I haven't been able to get into it yet. And all right, I don't know who that is. Oh, that would be a good one to read. Still going through the horror stories of Robert E. Howard. I think I went through a phase where I tried to go back and read a bunch of classic stuff. I never really got to Robert E. Howard, and I really need to. Did you ever read the Hero Quest books by Dave Morris? I believe they are from the UK. I did not read any of the Hero Quest books, no. Even as big of a Hero Quest fan as I was, I don't even know. They may be from the UK or in the UK or published, on that side. And maybe they weren't over here. I don't know. I don't know if that would have been on my radar anyway as a kid. But it could have been. But no, I haven't. I still continue to try to think more about how to be able to do more things together as a community. Oh, Robert E. Howard, Conan, and Solomon Kane. Yeah, now Solomon Kane is one that I don't know how that slipped by me. I watched this was what's been a little while ago now, but I was watching the original Conan movie, and it seems like I hear people talk about Conan sort of making fun of him. But I haven't read the stories. I need to read those stories. But, that movie was a perfectly good fantasy movie that, probably ahead of its time in what it was trying to do. And for some reason, Solomon Kane, the last movie, or I don't know if it was the last movie or whatever, there was a movie, Solomon Kane. And I watched that a few months ago as well. And I thought that was fantastic. I have no idea how accurate it is to the story. No idea. But I was like, wait a minute, how in the world didn't I know about Solomon Kane? Because that's thematically a lot of the kind of stuff that I like, the demon hunting and all of that kind of theme. I was huge on that. I read some Conan when I was a teen. We've got a recommendation for, as an IT guy, I recommend Off to Be a Wizard by Scott Meyer. It's available on Audible as well. I don't know that one either. So much stuff that's out there that I haven't been connected with. So I've still been thinking about ways to work on our community. I've been working on the Discord a little bit, but I think there's got to be something better to be able to play games and test games with. So Tabletop Simulator is still coming up. I was working with some other software when I got tired of working with all the email stuff for about an hour and a half tonight. Looking at some other software and stuff that I really wanted to investigate for that purpose because I needed a break to do something else. So I think it's looking promising. I will see. I think we got I think there are going to be good solutions here. The Lit RPG 2, even though I agree it's a little bit silly. I was wondering what the best kind of RPG for like the cultists would be. Have you ever played It's Not My Fault? That's kind of a takeoff of Fate. It's made by Evil Hat, and so it is Fate, but it's called It's Not My Fault, and it's designed to be a very lightweight, freeform RPG. I've actually played it a couple of times. I've played it with kids, and adults as well, but the focus on the children there. And, that's a game, an RPG, where I was able to come up with a story for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or something like that. You throw people into the action. At times it's going to be wild, it's going to be zany, it's going to be whatever. It could be more serious, but, it certainly has the more zany aspect to it. And I've had great times running that for more children-focused groups. Did that twice. Had a lot of fun. I've also had, I tried to play the Star Wars RPG. This was a mistake. I should have gotten into it before I pulled it out at the table. But I wanted to take some kids, my nephews, on a Star Wars adventure, and I was like, you know what? Let's try this Star Wars RPG. but that was too complex, and I was trying to figure out what to do with it as I was trying to get it. It looked cool. We might have to pull those up open on Morning Grind. Did anybody play the Fantasy Flight Star Wars RPG? I think it's already out of print, but it looked cool. For some reason, it was also one that flew under my radar when it was coming out, but I found all three of the starter boxes later. Might be something to look at. I've got this as well. This would be fun to look at on the Morning Grind, I think, too. So I wanted to get something a little bit classic. And so these are the reprints of West End Games Star Wars RPG. I remember seeing this in some kind of magazine that I had as a kid, some kind of Star Wars magazine or whatever. And in the section where it's talking about all the merchandise and stuff like that, I remember it had these books. And of course, the write-up about, what an RPG is like in Star Wars was really enthralling to me. I never got it. I never had a chance to play it. But when I saw they had reprinted them, I picked them up, but I haven't gotten deep into them. So maybe that can be a Morning Grind thing one day. Let's see. Oh, Savage Worlds Today, great splat book for Solomon Kane. Really? Oh, see, I enjoyed that movie so much. I need to read those books, and doing looking at the Solomon Kane RPG for Savage Worlds, that would be pretty cool. That would be another cool thing to run or do as like one-shots. Oh, I messed up. So this is not an RPG here. Lit RPG is a fiction genre. It's short for literal RPG, I think, and it's usually about people participating in VR online role-playing games that they get plugged into the game interface. Oh. It's usually about people participating. No, I did not know that. I feel really bad that you had written a whole bunch of stuff on the Small World Dinner and a Board Game episode or something, and when it moved servers, I thought that, or moved channels. Yeah, that was a failed experiment. So I'm really sorry that happened. They have permanent homes now, which will be here, because I'm not going to be able to produce enough Dinner and a Board Game to support its own channel. So I was like, all right, specificity is one thing, and that's important because everybody's like, hey, you got to have just one type of thing on a YouTube channel. And I was thinking, well, maybe that's my problem. I tried to dump too much on one YouTube channel. I'll divide these out, but that would mean the amount of material you have to have is ridiculous. So I moved them back. Incorporate. Trey says, I would think something like Low Stakes, They Came from Beyond the Grave, and another I can't think of for Cultist RPG. All right, Low Stakes, and They Came from Behind. Did somebody recommended that one to me before, right? Was that you, Trey? They Came from Beyond the Grave. That sounds like a cultist thing. They Came from Behind the Grave. And I think I looked that one up. I had thought that maybe there would be something like the It's Not My Fault cards for the cultists. I don't know if that's worth doing, but maybe something else would even be better for that. Demon Hunters was the other one. That's what I thought. I thought it was you. Lots of great material going back and forth. Let's see. What else do we need to talk about tonight? I kind of think that tonight should be a little bit short. I got a little bit more tea here because trying to get up and be productive in the morning, get stuff done before the morning grind. Trey says, Low Stakes is what we do in the shadows with camera time. Well, see, okay, that would fit really well because some type of mockumentary type style, that what we do in the shadows. I hadn't ever seen What We Do in the Shadows when we started doing the cultists. I didn't watch it until much later. But if it's something that's right in that kind of genre, or for that kind of genre, it might be right for the cultists as well. It's more of a social RPG light. Okay, that might be it. Yeah, because I was thinking that, kind of like we have the social deduction party game for Ritual. I figured out that, I figured that Ritual was probably the better way to go to create some kind of game for the cultists. But if it wasn't going to be that, it would need to be some type of lightweight social RPG. All right. Well, let's breathe and sip. I hope you're breathing with me. It'll make you feel better. It really will. I know some of you aren't, but if you start, you'll feel better. All right, I'm going to try to get to sleep here. This was the perfect thing that I needed. I hope that it closed out your day as well. I want to hit all of my targets for my time tomorrow because I've been missing those. I hit it the very first day we started because I knew I was up early and I was energized. If I could hit all that tomorrow, I bet I could clear all 3 of those big rocks. So, all right, I'm gonna try to post. I'll put up on Twitter or something that, hey, I'm up. Who's here? Tag me or something like that. I'm working 3 hours before the start of the morning grind. Oh, what are we gonna talk about in the morning grind tomorrow? Oh, I gotta think about that. What was our morning grind topic? I'm not sure if I've scheduled it yet. I can definitely take a look at that. If I am up and working, I can take care of that in the morning. All right. Pleasant and adventurous dreams. Positive Fandom says, have great rest, everyone. Have a wonderful rest. Oh, a long meeting all day tomorrow? Oh, no. I'm sorry. Well, I'm going to close this out like we always do by sending good vibes of the Tales of Rapavania out into the world. So good night, everyone. Let's... Oh, what? Good night, everyone. Let's do Good Night Sword.
Good Night Sword.
See you tomorrow for the morning grind.
Written by E.H. Robinson. Illustrated by Adam M. Botsford. Narrated by Brianna Da Silva. Part of the Tales of Rapavania. Good Night Sword. Good night, Gourd. Good night, guards who keep us all safe. Good night, Dagger. And the Iron Hauberk. Good night, Cheese. Good night, Keys. Good night, Elm. And good night, Helm. Good night, Squire. And good night, Liar. Good night, Shield. And good night to the lance only the gallant wield. Good night, Banner. And good night, Jewel. Good night, Gruel. Good night, Knights. And good night to the old soldier who says time's been cruel. Good night, maiden fair, whose favor I bear. Good night, rabbits everywhere.